What is going on, my fellow navigators, and welcome back to another video. Today's discussion is all around undervalued Pokemon cards, and this is a monthly series that I like to do where I provide you guys with some of the products that I've been noticing out on the open market that I think are either undervalued or perhaps overlooked by other investors and collectors, and that I think present a good opportunity for you guys for long-term upside potential. So we're going to go through 3 products here today that I do think have good long-term growth potential and that I think you guys can take advantage of right now. But before we get started, guys, just a quick announcement here. And for those of you that want to skip this announcement, you can go ahead and do so. Just click through this section down in the timestamps below in the video description. But I just wanted to let you guys know I have added a membership section to the channel. And if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click on the join button on the channel homepage. Some of the offerings that I will be having will be emojis, badges that you guys can utilize both in comments and on live streams. Those are really cool. And I do have to give a shout out to one of our fellow navigators, Tucker, for putting those together for me. And he does have a channel called Slum Bubba, which you guys can feel free to go ahead and check out. And then on top of that, there will be members only posts, updates, photos, different things that I'll be adding just for those of you that want to sign up for that membership. Don't feel obligated to, guys, but if you do want to help out the channel, then by all means, go ahead and join in. For now, it is $3.99 per month, and all of those proceeds will be reinvested right back into the channel to make things better for your viewing experience. And with that being said, guys, go ahead and do me a favor. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Give me that double slap attack. 1 for that like button, 1 for that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified each and every time a video drops, go ahead and thunder punch that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump right into these 3 products that I feel are undervalued by the overall market. And the first one that we're going to discuss here are theme decks. Now, I'm sure many of you out there are familiar with theme decks, but for those of you that are not, a theme deck is essentially a pre-constructed deck that is put together and released alongside mainstream products like booster boxes. And these go all the way back to the original base set. And it was really a way to provide an opportunity for players of the competitive scene to get into the game easily and have a deck ready to go. So just to give you an example here, we are over on Bulbapedia, which is a great resource to use for any and all Pokemon TCG information. So if we go all the way back to Generation 1 here, just to give you an example of what we're looking at. So this is one called Overgrowth, and the theme generally with the theme decks is that they usually have some kind of like special signature about them. So for instance, with Overgrowth, this one features water and grass type Pokemon. And as you'll see here, if you look at the deck list, you know, you've got all of the energies that you need, all of the grass energies, water energies, but then you also have some pretty cool, at least most of the time, pretty cool Pokemon that are featured in there as well. So for this one, for the grass type Pokemon, for your rare, you have Beedrill, which we all are familiar with that Beedrill. Very, very iconic card. And then also the Gyarados. And I believe the Gyarados for this one is, or at least the picture that they have is not the Gyarados, but I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Gyarados from the original base set. But that's just an example here. We'll kind of bounce back just so that you can take a look at some others here. Going to some of my favorite actually come from the Gym series. So here you've got the Brock theme deck. Some of the signature Pokemon in this one is the Brock's Rhydon. So very, very iconic card there. And as you can see, they all have a theme. So with Brock, as you know, he's a fighting rock type trainer. So those are the type of Pokemon that are featured in these theme decks. And the reason why I think these theme decks are undervalued or perhaps overlooked right now is that for the most part, many of these theme decks have pretty much stayed around the same price range for quite some time now. And granted, like with a booster box, if you were to open up a booster box, you can get, 12 holos. You've got plenty of rares in there. Whereas with a theme deck, you might have one, maybe two rares in there, maybe one or two holos. So you're not getting the quantity of higher end products or potential higher end cards that you would get in other products. But with these particular products, these theme decks, they are so iconic. I mean, I can remember these distinctly from when I was a kid. They were always featured up on the shelves alongside the booster boxes. And along with that, from a price relativity standpoint, many of the holos, the rares that are featured in these, especially Wizards of the Coast era products, from a price relativity standpoint, when you actually calculate the value of many of the cards in these theme decks compared to the asking price of the theme deck itself, it actually is right around even. It's right about even. And with the proliferation of vintage products being open nowadays, and I'm talking about mainly booster boxes and booster packs, as we go along and more of these products are opened, I really foresee that these theme decks will become more and more valuable because you still have, valuable cards in these particular products, but less of these are actually being opened. So as the supply of booster boxes and booster packs dwindles, I do foresee that there's going to be a lot more investors and collectors that are moving towards these theme decks because it gives you that same type of nostalgic vibe, that same type of enjoyment that you would get with other products, but at a much lower cost. And as I said, you don't have the potential of getting some of those more higher end cards in these theme decks, but at the same time, I think, looking at it right now from a price relativity standpoint, if you did want to break these open and try to grade cards in there, even if you were just doing the holos or the rares, I think that you can at least break even with these theme decks. But I really think from this perspective, theme decks are probably best kept sealed at this point, and just to allow these to increase in value over time. So what I also want to do here is just go over to eBay and just see what some of these theme decks are going for. So as you can see here, we are just searching by Pokemon theme deck. And right here at the top, we've got the hot water. This is for base set 2. So, going for 91.42 or best offer. The water blast. This one is from Jungle. And I believe this one is featuring predominantly water type Pokemon. So 140. This one here is the reserve. Let's see what this one is. This is for Jungle. And yeah, this is power. What does that say? Power reserve. So this one's featuring predominantly psychic and grass type Pokemon, going for $99. Looks like it's in a bidding process right now. Next bid would need to be over $100. But as you can see here, guys, a lot of these vintage products, probably going for around that $100 to $200 range still. Here you've got a Team Rocket Devastation, and you're going to have a guaranteed holo in each of these. Now, granted, that holo is, like in the case of this Team Rocket, it's going to be the Dark Wheezing. For this one, I believe it's the Beedrill. Let's see what it is for this base set 2 theme deck. Chopper usually has it, so it's a Clefairy on the back. So these cards are more common rares, more ones that you see featured pretty often, but still from a value standpoint, they are kind of in that mid tier. And that's where I think that as more and more vintage products are being opened, in this case booster boxes and booster packs, I think that you'll see these theme decks really start to grow over time. And just from a price standpoint, they are still, they're very reasonable for the average investor or collector. So I think this does present a good opportunity to get into, because I do think that over time, Wizards of the Coast, EX era, even some of those like Aquapolis, Skyridge theme decks, I think you're really going to start to see these climb over the long term. And I do think that they have good growth potential as well. So continuing on the topic of theme decks, our next product here that I feel like is undervalued by the overall market are the World Championship decks. So again, we're here on Bulbapedia. So these are similar to theme decks, but these World Championship decks are purchasable non-tournament legal prints of 60 card decks used by World Championship players. So essentially, these are the decks that people who won the World Championships were using at that time. So these go all the way back to 2004, and they go every year from 2004 up to most recently 2019. And I thought these were really, really unique in that they kind of have a little bit of like that kind of trophy card vibe to them. And they also are very unique in the sense that they mirror the decks that were used by these World Championship players. And I think that that is a really unique and kind of exclusive item that is something that you're not going to see. And it's something that is only released or was released at the time of the World Championships and were specifically tailored to the World Championship players. So just to give you guys some examples here of what we're talking about, we'll go all the way back to 2004. So the first one here is Magma Spirit. And as you can see, this is the name of the deck used by, I'm going to butcher this, Sugoyoshi Yamamoto in the 2004 World Championships, and it focuses on rock and psychic Pokemon. And as you can see here, this is mirrored after this particular winner's deck. And here's a picture of the theme deck itself. And on the front, you see Magma Spirit deck and that particular player's name. And this is the deck that was essentially used by them. And it's also a way, the reason that Pokemon released these was to provide up-and-comers with examples of what these high-caliber players were using in their decks so that they can get a better idea of how to properly construct a deck and what made, realistically, a World Championship type deck. So I think these are really unique, and if you guys aren't familiar with these, I would definitely be on the lookout, because they're, just for this one, for example, a Team Magma's Groudon, that's featured in here. That is a really, really cool card. And there's others in here as well. Team Magma's Claydol, beautiful cards from this era, from, EX era. And, if you're looking out on the open market, which I'm going to show you guys here pretty soon, a lot of these theme decks are going for really cheap, at least in my opinion, really cheap compared to the kind of exclusivity that I think they have, the backstory on them, what they're related to, and the fact that they are tied to these specific winners' decks. I think they really present a unique type of product, and when looking at the prices, I think you guys will be surprised at what they're actually going for. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump over to eBay and just see what some of these products are going for. So here you can see all 4 theme decks from the 2016 World Championships. And we'll go ahead and click on that one just so you guys can get a better idea. So some of the winners in that one was Jesper Eriksson, Shunto Sadiro. We also had Shintaro Ito and Cody Walensky. And they all have, like I said, a different theme to them, and they're all tailored to the the theme of that particular winner's deck. So really, really cool there. And again, it just gives me a lot of those kind of trophy card type of vibes that you would see in higher end cards. But as you can see here, for 4 boxes, $74.90, $75 for these 4 boxes. And to me, that just screams opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. Here we've got for 2016 as well. Let's see if we can find some other years. Here's one for 2017. This one was used by Diego Casaraga, and looks like the theme here was fairy and rock. So, but really cool, guys. Just really cool theme decks here, and again, just tailored to that particular winner for that year. Here we have 2018. So let's take a look at some of these. Pedro Eugenio Torres, Robin Schultz, Magnus Peterson, and Naito Inoue. And I know, guys, I'm butchering these names. I know that. But as you can see here, guys, just really, really cool types of products. And, just for the prices that I'm seeing now on the open market, I was really, really surprised, honestly, when for me, I'm always trying to find, different products out there that maybe other people don't know about or that aren't familiar with, not only to present an opportunity for myself, but also for you guys as well. And I think these definitely are in that category. Here again, we've got one from 2006. Now this one's a little bit more expensive because obviously the further back that you go, the rarer these are going to be. But this one is for Miska Sari. And as you can see there, a little bit different style than what what you're seeing in some of these other cards or some of these other theme decks. But $70 here, again tailored after that particular winner. Let's see if we can find any other years in here. Here we've got, that one's just a cards. Let's see. Here we got 2016, 2019, 2019. Yeah, it looks like the further back that you go, the rarer these are going to be and more difficult to find. But even more recent constructed decks, guys, I think these definitely present an opportunity there. Here is one from 2008, and this one is the Tristan Robinson Intimidation deck. So really cool there. Features this large scissor on the front, and as you can see there, 2008 World Champions deck. Really cool, guys. And like I said, these are just products that I'm looking at where I look at different characteristics. I like to look at exclusivity. I like to look at uniqueness. I like to look at, what is the theme of these particular products? When were they released? Was it in regards to some type of celebration? What kind of nostalgic factor do they have tied to them? And, going back to the other theme decks here, same thing. These are very nostalgic products. They were released alongside other mainstream products, which by all accounts now are becoming less and less attainable. And as those booster boxes, booster packs do become less attainable, I think that the natural migration for most investors and collectors are going to be to move towards the theme decks. And in the same vein here, we've got theme decks that are constructed after World Championship winners. And again, it's got kind of that trophy card type of vibe to it, very unique, and very, in my opinion, very exclusive as well. As you can see, you're not finding a lot of them out on the open market, but the ones that we are finding, especially of, maybe 2004, 2005, 2006, I think those are just going to become more and more rare. And from the prices that I'm seeing online, I do think that these present a good opportunity for anyone out there that's looking to get into Pokemon products at a cheaper price, and a product that I think does have the potential for long-term growth. All right, guys, and our last product here that we're going to discuss, the last product that I think is still undervalued by the overall market. You guys hear me talk about this well, you've heard me talk about it from the very beginning, and that is XY Evolutions. And if you guys have been keeping tabs on the market right now, XY Evolutions, especially booster boxes, have absolutely blown up. Now, I was talking about Evolutions booster boxes, especially back in May. My very first video was actually on Evolutions booster boxes. And we've seen that slow progression, but now they have really started to take off. And I think a lot of it is due to different characteristics that I've talked about in the past. The fact that, you know, base set especially is becoming less and less attainable, whichever one that you're looking at, whether you're looking at first edition, whether you're looking at unlimited, whether you're looking at Japanese. Many of these booster boxes are becoming less and less attainable. They're just pricing more and more people out. And so I think you're seeing a lot more people move over to Evolutions to get that same kind of nostalgic feel of the original base set. And to really have these cards, at least similar cards to base set, in their possession. So just taking a look out on the market right now, we're looking at some recently sold listings. As you can see here, it looks like most recent $449. We had one back on October 18th, $500. Here we've got $453, $475, $475. Guys, just a couple weeks ago, these were going for about $120 to $150. Some a little bit more than that, but that was the average price range. And they have just blown up recently. And like I said, I feel like this is due to the fact that Pokemon's getting a lot more notoriety from figures like Gary Vee, Logan Paul entering into the scene, and you know, just a price of all vintage product, but mainly base set just becoming less attainable, and you're seeing more and more people migrate to Evolutions. And you know, on top of that, just all of the different factors that Evolutions has going for it, I've talked about it several times in the past. I think you're starting to finally see that surge in price. But the reason that I wanted to bring it up here today is because even with this surge in price, I still think that Evolutions is still a good buy for the price. And this is going back to, you know, from a price relativity standpoint, we're going to look at it here in a second, but many of the cards in the set have also seen that tremendous increase in value. And from price relativity standpoint, you know, compared to what the booster boxes are going for right now, compared to the potential of the cards that you might be able to pull inside, I think it is still a very much undervalued set, and I think it's just going to continue to increase as we go along. So now that you got an idea of what booster boxes are going for, let's take a look at some of the cards on the inside. So I was looking at it here earlier, just looking at some of the Charizards. Obviously the Charizards in this set are the big chase cards. Here we've got the Mega Charizard EX, this one in a PSA 10, $189. Even in the raw form, you know, the Charizard holo and reverse holos, $225, $250. You know, this one was best offer accepted. But you can see that, I mean, these cards are going for a lot of money now. Not to mention, I mean, if you do have one of these reverse foil Charizards and this comes back a PSA 10 or even a PSA 9, I mean, you guys can see the prices that these are going for. Here you've got the Gem Mint full art Charizard. This one in a PSA 10, best offer accepted, around $250. Here we've got that PSA 10 reverse holofoil Charizard. This was back on the 16th of October, $750. And this is just the top three cards here. We can also take a look at the other cards in this set. We can look at the Dragonite, which I know that is another big card in this set. And let's see here. So PSA 10, now this is back on September 30th. I can guarantee that the prices have gone up since then. But, you know, $75 here. Here we've got PSA 10 Dragonite for $100. And like I said, I can guarantee these have gone up. In fact, let's just see what is out there right now. So here we've got one going for $214, Gem Mint PSA 10. Again, same thing here, going for almost $200, and these are just asking prices. There's no guarantee that that's what, they will actually get for it. But same thing here, guys. The cards in this set are just continuing to surge. Another one that I've noticed in here is the Surfing Pikachu. So let's take a look at some of these. PSA 9, here we've got one for $30. And these are just some of the lower tier cards in this set. Here we've got, let's see, there's that Charizard again. Even, the Mewtwo, $73 here. So yeah, just an example, guys, of what you're seeing out there on the open market for many of these cards. Let me see if I can go ahead and find some sold listings for this Surfing Pikachu. There we go. So on October 4th, the most recent one here, $182.50. And this was back on October 4th. And this was really before the big surge in price. So I would imagine cards that are coming out on the open market now, ones that are going to be bought, probably going to be even more than that. So just an example here, guys, of another product that I still think is well attainable for the average investor, average collector. But it is starting to get into that price point now where there's going to be a lot of people that it's not going to be attainable for. So I think it still presents an opportunity for many people out there. And if you by chance can find these booster boxes for that $120 to $150 range, who knows? You might be able to have a local card game shop that you can pick it up from for around that price. Maybe your card shop owner doesn't realize how much these have actually surged in price. Who knows? You might be able to pick those up around that price range still. But I still think, given the big increase in price, XY Evolutions booster boxes, I think, are still a really, really good buy at this point, because we're starting to finally see that big increase, that big growth cycle in this particular set. And at this point now, I really don't see it slowing down. I think that 2021, you're just going to see the value of pretty much all Pokemon products continue to go up. And, I don't want you guys to miss out on perhaps, another Flashfire-esque type of set, maybe other EX, Diamond and Pearl type of sets. I think that Evolutions is kind of falling in line with some of the price points for those products at this point. And like I said, I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon. So if you can and you have the financial means to do so, I would say try to lock on to some of these XY Evolutions booster boxes. So that is going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back each and every week. And if any of you are interested in supporting the channel, like I said before, please go ahead and join that membership. I do appreciate all of your support. And other than that, guys, I will see you all next time. My name is PokéNav. I'm here to help you navigate the world of Pokemon one video at a time, and I will see you all in the next video.